Hey everybody, what's going on? In today's video, I want to show you guys how to seal a gouache painting on a panel with cold wax medium. This way you can frame it without glass and it'll be protected from water and moisture damage. So without delay, let's get started. Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Brian McCormick with Gallery Bry. And if you're new to my channel, I post a new video every Friday on oil painting techniques, materials, and even art marketing. So if you want to improve your oil painting and even grow your art business, start right now by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss the videos that come out every Friday. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with sealing the gouache painting. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So this is a gouache painting on a panel from Ampersand. It's known as an aqua board, so it works really well with watercolor and gouache and other water-soluble media. So it's really nice, but the drawback is that you can't really frame it under glass. So to get around that, we are going to use Dorland's wax medium. So it's a cold wax medium. Gamblin sells it as well, and it's essentially beeswax with a resin and a solvent in there, and you can put it on and it'll dry, and then it'll seal the gouache painting and protect it from moisture and from water and from other things. So it's a really nice option. The only, I wouldn't say drawback, but something to be aware of is that it will darken the painting a little bit. So not too much, but it's definitely something that's noticeable. So if you don't want your painting to be altered, maybe stick with paper or another surface. So that's definitely something to be aware of. There are a number of different ways to apply it. You could use a brush, you could use a lint-free towel, you can use your finger, you can use a little squeegee. And I find that, just putting it on with the flat part of my finger gets really smooth application, and it turns out pretty nice, no streaks, that sort of thing. So generally just put a little bit, on my finger here, and then you just start rubbing it on. And I'll usually start by going in circular motion, and don't be afraid that you're going to lift up the gouache or that it's going to smudge or smear. I know I was certainly very paranoid about that initially, because you put all that work into your painting and then you put this on and then next thing you know it streaks. Well, it doesn't do that. It actually works very nicely, and you want to be gentle. You don't want to scrub it on, so probably using a very firm bristle brush would probably not be the best idea, because you can still abrade the gouache if you have too much friction going on. So you definitely want to be careful about that, but don't worry that it's going to smudge. You just want to be gentle with it and everything should be fine. But just apply it pretty liberally. You just put a little bit on and then you go back and then you get a little bit more, and you can kind of see how it darkens the painting ever so slightly, and then you can kind of tell where you've been and where you need to add a little bit more. So having accurate lighting is good. Having good lighting where you can go back and kind of look at it at an angle is really helpful, so that you can see if there's any streaks. I like to go over it, in kind of a straight motion, vertically or horizontally, so that it's all pretty uniform. But you just kind of go over it. It doesn't dry super fast, so it's not like an acrylic paint or some of those acrylic varnishes. Those things dry very, very quickly, and if you overbrush them, they can get very cloudy and bubbly, and it just turns into a mess. This isn't like that. It definitely, I think they say it takes about 24 hours or more to fully dry. It's a wax, so it's gonna dry, but you got to give it a little bit of time. So you just keep going over and over, like I said, in circular motions here. And you can do one coat, you can do 2 coats, whatever you're comfortable with. I typically just do 1 coat, and I just make sure that it's on there, you know, pretty well. You want to make sure that you're not getting any lint or dust or anything like that, because if it gets stuck in the wax, it's going to be stuck in the painting. So you definitely don't want to do that, because obviously you don't want to have that stuff in your painting. So, and when it's done, then you can frame it without glass, and it's going to be protected from moisture and water, and it looks pretty good. You know, that's one of the nice things about gouache, and that's why a lot of people don't really like to fix it or varnish it or do anything else, because it takes away from the beautiful matte finish of the gouache, because that's what everybody really likes about it. It's got this very unique matte finish. It's different from acrylics. It's different from oils. Oils, you know, dry, pretty glossy. Acrylics definitely dry, very glossy. But gouache has this really nice matte finish to it. And that's the nice thing about the wax, is that you're still going to be able to retain that matte finish, and it retains the look of the gouache. So you're not going to lose that. And like I said, it darkens the color ever so slightly, not too much, you know, and it's really only noticeable in a certain kind of light. So I'm not really noticing it too much on here. I'm not sure how much it's showing up on camera, but it can be noticeable, you know, if you're really familiar with the painting. So just gonna keep adding a little bit more to make sure I have this fully covered, because you want to make sure that it's uniform coverage. You don't want too much in one area, splotchiness in another area, because you want it to be a consistent appearance over the top of the painting. All right, so I've gone over the painting a few more times to try and get some universal coverage here. It looks like it's pretty well coated. I don't see any streaks or marks, and it looks like it turned out pretty good. So I'm gonna let this dry for probably 24 to 48 hours at the least. It doesn't say on the jar how long you should really wait for it to dry, but in my experience, I prefer to give it a handful of days before I really want to like ship anything out, you know, just to be on the safe side. So, you know, there's usually a little bit of like extra wax, you know, that's like on the side that you can just scrape off whenever you're done. But just kind of tap that, and then you'll be able to see like how dry it is. Like if you touch it and it comes off on your finger, then, you know, it's probably not dry yet and ready to handle. Wait till that's pretty firm, and then you can even just use a palette knife and just scrape some of that extra stuff off the side. You could do it right now, but I like to leave that there just as a way to figure out how dry the painting is, and then that way I can pack it up, ship it out, and it's ready to go. And then the painting's gonna be protected from moisture and water damage. All right, everyone, now's where I'd like to hear from you. If you have any suggestions on how to seal a gouache painting without putting it behind glass, definitely leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. If this was beneficial, please leave me a like, because it helps me bring more content to you guys. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for the videos that come out every Friday. So with that, we'll see you guys next time.